What's up, y'all? You know what time it is? It's about to be that time.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Savage.
And we're back. One Piece 1071 is out. First chapter of 2023. Happy New Year, everybody. Okay? Thank you so much for a wonderful 2022. And I'm expecting peak content in 2023. Maybe even one of the best years of One Piece ever. There are going to be multiple videos on this particular chapter. One is going to be an entire sword review because it's been years since the original video. And, you know, the first one's getting a lot of traction. It is kind of old, so we're going to revisit a lot of the evidence. Theory was in Watch Mojo recently as well.
Number 6, Law is a member of Sword. Sword is a mysterious faction in the Marines.
So, you know, traction is there. We're also going to do a video on Kid being an Elbaf. I've wanted to do it for a while. You know, on the channel we've talked about it, so boom, another one. Okay, where do we go from here? Kid goes to Elbaf.
Another one.
All right, now you lost me. What now? Kid?
Kid is going to be at Elbaf. There's two ways that I see. He is already there or on his way, and he's looking for Saul.
I know, but this island is probably where we at. Okay, so Randy got this one right. Okay, so Randy gets another W.
Another one.
Sorry, King of Lightning, I know you were upset about that. We'll get into all of the various possibilities of where that will go in that separate video. This could be the year of Sword, with all of the agendas reaching critical mass right now. All right, let's get into everything because this chapter was insanely packed. All right, but first, like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. Kuma pulling up back to Marijoa. Okay, right after the Revolutionary Army pulled up to save him, he was like, nah, I gotta go back. We talked about a lot of ideas, but my favorite one to expand upon, basically, the second he touches down and threatens a celestial dragon, all of the Marine forces that are on their way to Egghead are going to have to turn around because the celestial dragons take priority. So we may get into a situation where Kizaru is finally showing off, maybe hurting one of the Straw Hats, might be a pivotal moment. Somebody's almost going to die, just like in the Archipelago, maybe not even one of the Straw Hats, maybe Bonnie, anybody. Kizaru gets the call. You need to come back immediately because Bartholomew Kuma is attacking celestial dragons, which is a parallel to the ancient robot that we learned about during Egghead, climbing the red line like Kuma's about to do, right? Like Fisher Tiger was fabled to do, but didn't actually do, right? But there's also an interesting correlation there with Fisher Tiger climbing the red line like the robot that scaled the red line right around the same time that Fishmen got their rights. Maybe there's a correlation between the Fishmen and the robot. We talked about that in the previous video. So at some point, Kizaru may just have to dip, and he's also the type of person that would not finish the fight or kill somebody even when he has a kill shot if he gets another order. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna go do this other thing that they asked me to do. Who is the traitor of Egghead? We still need to figure this out. Lilith is the obvious choice and probably the red herring, but still could very well be the traitor. Edison is also looking very sus because he is nowhere to be found when the Frontier Dome deactivates. So, just saying. And he also didn't want us to talk to the ally. Who is the ally? 3 options. 1, Fujitora.
落とし前つけてきちゃれよ、藤虎。麦わら、ロー、2人の首取ってくるまで、全海軍基地の指揮はまたがせんぞ。望むところでござんす。
We know that he is aligned with Vegapunk in some way, because every time he talks, he's talking about the SSG. 2. Saul. Now, this was brought up in the stream by Hunter, and I really liked expanding upon this. He said, what if it could be Saul? The possibility of Saul actually being on Egghead is to hide your secret weapon in plain sight. We already have a 900-year-old robot that the government doesn't know is on Egghead. So we could totally hide this vice admiral that, went against the government, nearly died at Ohara, is one of the biggest weapons that, enemies of the gods that the Celestial Dragons have, hidden in plain sight on a government island, right? We're already going to Elbaf. Kid could be there trying to find him, but hey, nope. Saul's here. That's an interesting one. 3rd, the real Kuma, okay, or Kuma's brain put into a surrogate body, something along those lines. That was brought up a lot during the stream, and while it may make even the most sense out of everything, I would prefer one of the first two because I think it's more interesting, but with the Bonnie connection here, that may be the route we're going now that Kuma is over at Marijoa. Some people were saying Scopper Gaban. I'm not a fan of Scopper. It would make a really good parallel to Sabaody, which I've been saying there's all of these Sabaody parallels here to begin with. So going and having a former Rogers pirate member, on this island, the same way we had Rayleigh show up in the archipelago, would be fun, but it's mostly a this is only here because it's cool thing, rather than this is here because it serves the narrative like Fuji or Saul or even Kuma's real brain would. Garp pulls up to G14. He has to pick up his secret weapon, Helmeppo, and Hibari, right? He cannot go up against Blackbeard if he does not have Helmeppo. Helmeppo stocks are at an all-time high. Garp the hero needed Helmeppo before he could go to Hachinosu. Do you guys understand the implications of this, right? You guys have been sleeping on the boy Helmeppo so hard. This guy is top tier, all right? Helmeppo, top 10. That was one of the hardest things to say in my life. Anyway, sword stocks, critical mass. Most people know the laws in sword theory, right? But the real theory behind the laws in sword theory was that Garp was in sword, that he was at the top of sword. Who else could be members of sword? Well, let's look at our 2 known members. Okay, with Kobe, we could probably assume that perhaps Helmeppo was involved, but I'm going to take it a step further. I believe wholeheartedly that the leader and founder of Sword is Monkey D. Garp. Right? That's what the main theory was always about. That's why I even talk about it in like the first 2 minutes of the video. Well, I don't know, first 5 minutes of the video. It's a long video. But it all starts there. It starts with Garp, and then everything else culminates from that, right? And here he shows up and is directly talking to Helmeppo and Hibari, confirmed sword members. He's not saying, hey, doll, come with me. Hey, Tashigi, come with me. They did not have sword in their Oda boxes, okay? But Helmeppo and Hibari did, and that's who he's trying to take. He's trying to take the people that are aligned with what his goals are. We're dealing with a situation now where all of the top players that I've always been saying are in Sword, Garp, Kuzan, Law, and Kobe. Well, Kobe we already knew was in there as well as Drake. But other than Drake, most of these people are going to be in the same place. And there is a possibility that Drake shows up as well. Kuzan is likely at Hachinosu. And Kuzan and Garp, they have a very mentor-mentee style relationship, which I'm going to explore more when I do the Sword revisiting. But I am expecting a confrontation between Garp and Kuzan. Garp death stocks seem to be at an all-time high. That's all I'm seeing. That's what a lot of people were bringing up in the stream. Could Garp die? Yes. Absolutely could. If he goes up against Blackbeard and gets, what appears to be a fatal blow, might stick, right? And that is going to be a decisive blow for Luffy as well, because it's on the same level as Ace. If Shanks dies, it doesn't matter, because Shanks chose his path. You know what I'm saying? He chose to do this pirate life and everything like that. So Luffy wouldn't be as upset with that, other than the fact that he wouldn't be able to meet up with him again. Garp dying would set Luffy off. Something that Chrissy and I have talked about for years. Garp dying at, in like our top 3 people of dying throughout the course of the series. Chrissy's number 1 is definitely Garp. And I'm up there with her too. I truly believe that it would have the level of impact that Ace did. But Luffy has grown, so we're not going to see like, a mental break from him in the same way. If Kuzan and Garp fight, then things could get a little more sus, where we're kind of like, is he actually dead or not? I think it would end up being a Nami and Usopp and Arlong Park situation. Kuzan could hit him with the ice time capsule. And we already know that that's not going to really do anything, right? If he just freezes Garp whole without breaking him, which just the thought and idea of Aokiji freezing Garp and then breaking him would be one of the craziest things we've ever seen. But if he just freezes him, then it's going to be like, nah, Garp is going to get unfrozen at some point. But then if Kuzan freezes him, right, but then Blackbeard shoots the ice and it all collapses and breaks, oh god, oh man, I'm just thinking of all these ways that this could go. Either way, Kobe's going to get free. Helmeppo is going to get away. Law probably is going to get away. And it's all going to be a matter of mission versus duty, right? In the same way that Marineford was. And we're going to get that parallel here, where it's like, Garp couldn't interfere with Ace because it would have messed up the entire plan of what Sword is doing to overthrow the government. Kuzan can't necessarily give away that he's been spying on Blackbeard here in this particular situation in the same way that Drake gave away his position by freeing Law. So Kuzan may be a little more tactful in the way that he goes about dealing with Garp here. Blackbeard may use this as a test for Kuzan, at which point Kuzan has to play the game. He's got to play the game. But the thing is that Blackbeard cheats, so whatever game Aokiji, goes for may not go the way that he has planned. But the thing is that Garp is going to be okay with whatever the outcome is, because Kuzan will still be around to inherit his will and take down the government as the whole plan of Sword is. Headcanon. But hey, none of it's been debunked since 2019.
Savage.
Vegapunk is packed and ready to go. Okay, I love this. We're getting off this island. Who turned off the Frontier Dome? If it wasn't one of the satellites, there is a possibility for it to be Caribou, right? If he's trying to steal technology or something like that, and his swamp just got into the controls of something, and that's why they couldn't pick anything up because he was in his swamp form. Maybe, although I do believe that Vegapunk would have enough technology to even sense Caribou, even if he was in his swamp form. That's why I feel like it had to have been someone in the Frontier Dome turning the Frontier Dome off. The most hyped moment of the chapter was Zoro versus Kaku, and I do want more of this. Is Kaku going to be awakened? Who knows, but I'm ready for an awakened giraffe Kaku to begin with. This is a direct callback to the first meeting of Zoro and Kaku, which we talked about being a possibility all the way at the beginning of the arc.
Another one.
It only made sense for Kaku to pull up on Zoro napping just like he was back in Water 7 when Kaku came to inspect the Mary. But this man is so shook at seeing Zoro again. PTSD in full effect. I need more of this, and I am expecting more of this in 1072. Stussy, as always, looking sussy. When the Frontier Dome shuts off, Stussy is a little confused by that, right? Is she actually the person on the Mads cover? Maybe. I still have my own, ideas of who that could be, but there is a connection with Vegapunk regardless. If she is, or was a, former member of Mads, she may be confused because she's probably saying, well, Vegapunk's inventions don't just malfunction like that, so this is kind of weird. Bonnie finally runs into Vegapunk and asks, can my dad be turned into normal? With a definitive no, Vegapunk shuts that down, but says there is a reason for that. Now, the reasoning for this, I believe, all ties into the mission of the Revolutionary Army and anybody else that is trying to take down the world government. Kuma sacrificed himself for the greater good. Now, unfortunately, he didn't tell his daughter about this plan before he went into it, but I think that that's what 1072 is going to be mostly about, or 1073. Either way, in the next 2 chapters, we're going to have this sit down with Bonnie to kind of get her on the same page here, because she's trying to sabotage everything that is going on. They cannot get off the island if Bonnie is continually trying to kill Vegapunk. Is Blackbeard even going to be on Hachinosu? Is he still fighting law on Winter's Island? Does Garp just get there and all he deals with is Aokiji, right? And then they're trying to get Kobe out of there, everything like that. We just get this sword reveal. Or is Kobe in a cell on the ship just opposite from Pudding and we just didn't see him yet? I don't know, but either way, we need to see Kobe very soon. I said that when we see Helmeppo again, we'll probably go back and find out what's going on with Kobe. So that could be a 1072 thing. I'm expecting a lot more of Zoro versus Kaku, dealing with this whole, Bonnie situation, getting her on board with the, escape plan, but some Kobe scene would be very appreciated in 1072, Oda. Just saying. And that's going to wrap things up for the 1071 analysis. First chapter of 2023. I got to thank you guys. Seriously. Like, the Savage crew, Savage Pirates, like, where we have come from, the start of the channel to now, the community that we've built. I love seeing you guys every week. And I love seeing the interactions of everybody, I get messages about how much the community means to everybody a lot, and that's all I wanted. I just wanted people to talk One Piece with. And I'm so excited for what 2023 is going to bring. We're going to have the Reverie soon. Stay tuned for the announcements. And see everybody, real soon. There's going to be a lot of videos on this chapter, and we've got a lot of stuff on the horizon. Shout out to our new members: Robbie Sheeney, Jason Washington, JP, Shooter Ali, Tom Ado, Neil Tame, Lydia Raven, Rickert, Partha, Law is Sauce McGee, and Sophelia. Appreciate all you guys. What a year. So excited for everything that's about to come. This could be one of the best years of One Piece ever. The content is insane. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.